Return of the Mount Hua Sect. Chapter 259. What opened? The Chong disciples and the Biga disciples looked at Chongmyung with dark eyes. Hadn't they already experienced enough of Chongmyung's antics? They could fully imagine what would happen if they got defeated by the disciples of other sects. It is a problem since he is too imaginative. I'd rather just die. As the disciples took a deep breath, Chongmyung clicked his tongue. You don't have confidence? No, it isn't that. Right? It isn't, right? Baeksang's face was turning tired. Does this brat even have any shred of decency? It was the moment when he was thinking about what to say. But Chongmyung, Yeomjin, the third-class disciple who had been silent until now, spoke up. It isn't that I'm suspicious of you or anything. What's with you? Just say it out coolly. Am I someone who catches on to other people's words and harasses them? Yeah. Really? Is that so? That's strange. I won't do anything odd, so speak normally. Yeomjin thought for a moment and spoke with a subtle expression. Can we really beat the disciples of the 9 great sects? Chongmyung frowned. Have I ever said anything that was false? Yeah. Is that so? That's quite weird. I don't think I've ever done something like that. This time, it is real. You can win. Yeomjin's expression changed. What are you so afraid of? You guys already took down those bastards once. True, but when Yeomjin hesitated, even after hearing his confirmation, Baeksang smiled bitterly and opened his mouth. It was the third-class disciples and you who won. The second-class disciples all lost. Well, anyway, the end result was all good, right? If you think about it like that, so it makes you feel better, think differently. If the third-class disciples were assigned to the second-class disciples of the Jongnam sect, would we have won? Baeksang continued to speak, looking into Chongmyung's eyes. I am saying that just because we have taken down a few disciples doesn't mean that we had defeated the whole Jongnam sect properly. Besides, it is you people and not us who beat the Jongnam sect. So, after listening to Baeksang's words, Chongmyung thought. So you aren't confident of taking down the disciples of the 9 great sects or the 5 great families who have mastered their martial arts? Yes. Chongmyung smiled. It's strange to hear that. We even took down that bastard sword dragon or something and proved ourselves. Mount Hua is stronger than Wudang. I'm not pointing fingers at Sasuk. And I'm not saying it is a lie, you bastard. Seeing Baekchun's face was now red, Baeksang smiled and said, Isn't Baekchun Sayong a special one? Chongmyung slowly, very slowly, turned to look at Baekchun, whose cheeks trembled a little. Straight in your face, you bastard. Anyway, how can you show your rotten expression to a Sasuk like this? And Yoonjung, Jogul and Yusame, they are all special people. Everyone recognizes their talents. But our talents are average. So, you aren't confident? Baeksang shook his head. Chongmyung, don't get me wrong. Until you came, we were all people suffering from defeat. We're not doing this because we are afraid of losing. We are simply scared. Huh? Not afraid to lose, but just scared. What does that mean? Baeksang smiled bitterly at Chongmyung's gaze. Mount Hua is returning to its former glory faster than ever. I'm afraid that I will become a stumbling block to such a fast-growing Mount Hua. I'm afraid that it will be said that Mount Hua is nothing if not for you 5. I'm scared of that. Chongmyung frowned. A heavy silence passed for a moment. Chongmyung, who would have normally yelled, stayed silent. And Baekchun, who was impatient, said, What is making you this scared? Mount Hua has now regained its past martial arts. And didn't you take the pill? What would you be afraid of after we absorb the ki from the pill completely and master our martial arts? Sayong, our opponents are from the 9 great sects and they are skilled. Even if we took the pill, wouldn't they have taken a much better pill than us? That, also, we will just start learning the 24 movement plum blossom sword technique and they must have already learned their secret technique from an early age. Baekchun hesitated and then went silent. It was because he knew that Baeksang wasn't wrong. So, enough! At that moment, Chongmyung interrupted Baeksang. I hate these whining sounds. He covered his ears with both hands and shook his head. So, in the end, you're not confident that you can defeat the elite disciples of other sects. It isn't that I'm not confident. I'm just worried. So someone like this Baekchun guy can win, but not you Sasuke's. Baeksang didn't answer and just clasped his hands. Then it's decided. Huh? Chongmyung smiled as he turned to Baekchun. Then, within the next 6 months, you only need to become as strong as he is. Those who achieve that level can participate in the competition, right? Baeksang's eyes went wide. No, that... enough! It isn't that difficult. Not difficult. Baeksang looked at Baekchun. Baekchun was looking at the sky with a face that said he was liberated. Chongmyung, that isn't. I said we are done. No, it's fine, I tell you. What I meant, I told you, it's no big deal. No, enough. Listen to others, damn it. Baeksang touched his chest, feeling frustrated. Talking to this guy never works out. Chongmyung looked at him and smiled. Sasuke has no reason to be worried. Huh? You think I'm going to let Sasuke lose to them? Chongmyung looked at him. If you want to lose, try losing once. Baeksang stuttered as he heard it and said, Chongmyung, what I'm trying, don't worry, Sasuke. I know very well what Sasuke is worried about. I fully understand. Huh? Chongmyung looked straight into his eyes and said, You're still lacking effort. Effort? You wouldn't have thought of something like that if you people worked hard. All the people you see, think about breaking their heads. Chongmyung, think carefully. It isn't about lacking effort, but about the attitude. Normal people cannot think like that despite the effort they put in, Chongmyung. I think it's because of the things that happened recently. It is all my fault. You would have gained confidence if I had made all the Sasukes train harder. I was lazy. I was slacking off. It is because of me. With his eyes turning red, he screamed like a madman. Now, the disciples were falling into despair. And soon, they all looked at Baeksang. No, why did you have to say that? Didn't you know this was going to happen? Why annoy him more? Damn it! Baeksang trembled as he felt the many gazes on him. I'm not the only one who thought this, you bastards. Seeing him in shock and not knowing what to do, Baekchun smiled brightly and said, Do not panic. Sayong. Baeksang looked at him as if he had seen Buddha in hell. Right, the one who can stop Mad Chongmyung is. I agree with Chongmyung. I know it because I tried it. But if you practice hard enough to puke your insides out, your fear will wash away. What? So, you can do it. I will work hard to help you out of those concerns, so don't think about losing. Baekchun clenched his fists, and Baeksang looked at his Sayong like his soul had been pulled out. He had thought this man was a Buddha in hell. No, he is the Asura. No, but for real, what the hell did these people do when returning from Yunnan? Why are so many people turning into Chongmyung? This feels like hell. It isn't wrong. And to make matters worse, Yu Yisol also sided with Baekchun. What you have all built to now, that should be the source of your confidence. Right. Baekchun nodded his head. The word scared is something you can really think about when you roll in hell. You don't have the right to say that word until then. Sayong speaks like he is experienced. Me? Baekchun's lips twitched. Well, I don't know. I wonder if you'll be able to say that when you go through the same thing as me. Don't worry, I will help you. And Yunjong and Jogul will help too, since we are all experienced. Sayong, why are you grinding your teeth while saying such words? You aren't taking your frustration out on us, right, Sayong? Yes, we will help too. Don't worry, I'll do my best. There were some things in the world that couldn't be understood. Well, this was the suffering of great people. And then, the greatest of all misfortunes opened his mouth with a serious face. There are some things which Sasuke's and Sayong's have to know. Huh? Chongmyung looked at everyone and then said in a weirdly low voice, "There are times when you lose because you are weak, but you do not lose because your martial arts are weak. As long as the Sahyungs can master the sword technique properly, there is no need for you to be afraid anymore, whether it is Wudang or Shaolin." It was a low voice. It was low and quiet and gave assurance to others. "Don't worry, Mount Hua and I will make you stronger, so no one can dare ignore us again." Baeksang nodded his head unconsciously. Did Chongmyung's words work? A weird heat was rising in the bodies of the disciples. The fact that Chongmyung, who often spoke nonsense, doesn't lie. No, he lies sometimes, but in such times. Well, anyway, it isn't like a lie. Baekchun then added, "Don't forget." Baekchun looked around at everyone and said, "The sect leader and elders will lead the way, and the Sasuks will help us till the end. But the responsibility to bring back the glory of Mount Hua is on us. We are the disciples, and we should stand tall. Do not forget that." "Yes, Sahyung. We will keep it in mind, Sasuk." Crack. Chongmyung stretched his head. "Now that you all agree." Huh? Chongmyung used his hand to pull out his sword. "Let's get started." "Now? Why? Do you want to waste time? Don't even think of it." When Chongmyung said that, Baekchun and Yu Yisol, who were in front of the second-class disciples, and Yoonjong and Jogul, who were in front of the third-class disciples, turned. "Now that the basics have been laid, let's move into actual battles. 3 months, just 3 months. I think that in only 3 months, you will voluntarily ask for death. If you survive," Chongmyung chuckled, "you will get the qualification of a Plum Blossom Swordsman." Plum Blossom Swordsman. The moment they heard the forgotten title of the disciples of the Mount Hua Sect, the disciples trembled. A long time ago, there was a Plum Blossom Swordsman who was like the symbol of Mount Hua. The name of the swordsman, who no one dared to say now, was Chongmyung. But Chongmyung spoke with cold eyes. Each title has a price. To bear that title means to bear responsibility as well. Don't think that you can stay alive without crossing through hell first. The disciples all looked serious. "Well, we're already in hell. What new thing can we see? Let's start. Don't waste time, as you said. Right?" Chongmyung smiled. The ones who had been whining a second ago were now strong-willed. "Start. Okay." Baekchun took a step back. "Come forward one after another to the front. Complete the match with me. Those who have completed the match will go to Chongmyung and compete again. Do not waste time." "Yes!" Those standing in front began to move, and seeing that, Chongmyung smiled. "Look at these chicks." After a while, the chicks would start to grow feathers on them. And what if the 24-movement Plum Blossom Sword was taught to them while rolling them in torture? They can do it. The Whirly Mudum competition will be the place where Mount Hua regained its name. And breaking the heads of the 9th grade sex disciples will be done at the same time. Chongmyung smiled and looked up at the sky. "My Sahyung, Sect Leader Sahyung, wait, cause I will make the name of Mount Hua known to the world." Chongmyung giggled and grabbed his sword. Time passed like flowing water. Mount Hua's time also flowed fairly well. A day, 2 days, and a month. 6 months passed by extremely quickly. The day to participate in the Whirly Mudum competition was fast approaching.